Pamela Hughes, he's Rob Hunter, and I'm Bruce St. James, and these are the stories that everyone's talking about. We call it the playlist.
Track 1.
Jerice Hunter has been arrested by the Glendale Police Department. She was arrested for child abuse related to her missing daughter, Jessie, who's been missing now for just about a month. The Glendale PD said information they uncovered last week led to Hunter becoming the focal point of the investigation. Because of that information, police also said they are less and less hopeful they will find little Jessie alive. Unfortunately, this is playing out just as I thought it would, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you know what? Mom had a court appearance last night that got really weird. You know, They delayed a bunch of things, and they rescheduled it to 11 this morning. And so we'll have a reporter there, and it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that.
There's some similarities between this case and between the Casey Anthony case.
Sure.
Both moms, questions about the moms, except there's one huge difference, maybe two huge differences: socioeconomic status and race.
Track 2.
President Barack Obama says he's ready to bust out the veto pen as good old Congress tries to derail automatic spending cuts. Now, the cuts are supposed to happen now that the so-called super committee, they failed to come up with a compromise. Obama promised $2.2 trillion in cuts over the next decade, one way or another.
Nobody is wrapped in glory here. There are no heroes, and the reality is they're not making any tough choices. This is all posturing. It's BS.
And because of that, Bruce, I can't in good conscience vote for any of these fools.
Hear, hear.
So third-party candidates, I'm listening to you.
Yeah, I think you're not the only one that's listening to him now, Rob. But you know what? If Barack Obama stands behind this, I like it because actions have consequences, or inactions have consequences.
Track 3.
So the chancellor of UC Davis is now apologizing for students for that pepper spraying incident. Linda KTAR appeared before 1,000 students yesterday to tell them she felt awful for what happened.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
KTAR did place 2 cops, seen pepper spraying protesters, and the campus police chief on paid administrative leave.
This is not just about 2 cops, okay? And that's the frustrating thing when you're looking at this. And it's not just about UC Davis. I'd love for us to have the bigger discussion about police power on campus and off.
Well, you know what? It was just a few hours after the chief of campus police was put on leave that the students went right back in and put those tents back up. So it's going to be a will of powers here.
Speaking of power, I just find it funny that the woman in charge is basically putting everybody on administrative leave, but she's still fighting and saying, the university needs her. I'm not going anywhere.
You need me.
Track 4.
Newt Gingrich now sits atop the CNN poll for Republican nomination for president. Unbelievable. 24% backed Newt, 20% said they're planning on voting for Romney. Gingrich also said yesterday he wants to make Social Security a choice for younger Americans. This would allow people to keep their taxes and invest it however you so choose. By the way, Newt is on top of the poll this week. Your turn in the barrel. Guess who December's it guy is going to be? Huntsman. You heard it here first.
Oh,
Heard it here
goodness.
first.
Yeah. How sad is this, though, that he's risen to this level in the GOP primary at this point when he was so hated back in the day and people didn't like him when he was the speaker. So I just think it shows that we don't have any good candidates right now for the Republicans.
Who cares? I'm off the cane train.
Off the cane train.
I know I like the 999 plan, but it doesn't matter anymore.
Moving
I
on.
am picking up Ron Paul. Here we go,
there
baby.
You go.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Track 5.
Well, the Egyptian prime minister and his cabinet submitted their resignations to the ruling military council yesterday. They were trying to calm down all the violence that's erupting there in Tahrir Square. Now, at least 24 people have been killed in this latest round of riots where protesters want the military council to hand over power to the civilian government. Over 100,000 showed up at Tahrir Square yesterday alone.
Listen, I appreciate the comparisons people are making to protests in this country to the protests in Egypt, and they all want democracy, and they're going to go out and show everybody and stand up to power. A key difference, we don't stack dead bodies like cordwood in the streets. They do in Egypt. There's a key difference.
That's very true. And think about this. The military now that's ruling is handling these protests, exactly how Mubarak, the former Egyptian president, is handling it.
Can't tell
how
the
well
difference.
that turned out for him.
There's one change, though, Rob. They're now using this new type of tear gas that literally can cause suffocation and epilepsy.
Oh, good news.
So you have a doctor there that says if you see that number of 24 deaths skyrocket, it's because of this new tear gas.
Track 6.
Speaking of those protests back home, the Occupy Wall Street movement has received a ton of media coverage, right?
They have, yeah.
But still, 56% of Americans don't have an opinion one way or the other.
Don't
about
even
it.
have an opinion.
Don't even care. About 60% said they don't even know what the goals of the protests
Yeah.
were. The group's negative rating is also up 11 points in the past 2 months.
Did you know that 90% of the Occupy Wall Street people don't have any goals of their own? That might be part of the problem.
Yeah, that could
Might be
hurt.
part of the problem.
When I read this poll, I'm like, yep, that's me. Don't have an opinion. Yep, that's me. Don't know what their goals are. Yep, my the negative rating has gone up.
Well, and
I
you think
just don't
about
care.
who the people you see on TV and what they look like, and you look at them and you go, that's not me.
That's not me.
Yeah.
You know,
I
before
can't
there was a
relate to
couple
it.
people in the crowd you could relate to, not these folks.
I'm going to work on my dreads, though. I want to blend in.
Oh, I'd
Gotta
like
have
to
a
see
beard,
that.
too.
Need to get some dreads?
That'd
I
be
got to
good.
get a what?
Dreads and a beard.
Oh, boy.
And a
I will
beanie.
actually-
You need a beanie and a drum. This could be fun.
This whole thing might be over before I get my hair in the proper and facial hair in
Please
the right
just
place.
warn me when you stop taking showers so I can sit in another studio.
Sure.
Don't worry,
Oil.
you will find out before anybody else. Tell you what, that is the playlist. We do it at the bottom of every hour, get you caught up on the stories that people are talking about. Again, we call it the playlist.